Hey guys, I go by, in case you don't know me, I go by Tommy. Pretty much go by anything really, people call me. But, I was kind of taking your lead in on that, and stuff about, asking you shall receive or whatever stuff, And I was trying to think out what, man, I believe I get emotional here, man, because it's kind of like I kind of grew up here. I kind of figured out a way to kind of, and I'm not fixed, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not telling you guys this is like right or something. But like I just want to try to pass on some of the things that really helped me, that I figured out here, that I still do now to this day, And I learned how to ask, right? God, however you call it, your God, whatever. So I learned to ask, not with words, but with my actions, with what I'm doing and how I'm orchestrating my thing. And I did that, with me and Dan would talk about that. But I started off, man, with a list, and I started off in the domiciliary, and I was blessed in the domiciliary with the gift of desperation because Tommy was gone, man. There was no fucking Tommy. Excuse my language, but man, whatever I thought he was or whatever stuff, I was in the ER. I promised somebody that if I was going to kill myself, I would call them, and she made me. Told me, just to go to the ER, when I was talking to that doctor, man, and I was crying, and I wasn't crying because I felt sorry for Tommy. I was crying because there was no Tommy left. There was nothing that I thought of as me was there anymore, And some of you guys might know that feeling, man. It ain't a good freaking feeling. Talk about an empty freaking feeling, you know what I'm saying? So when I first got this, I call it, if you're in the dark and it's really dark and you look for the light, no matter how faint it is, you can freaking see it, man. You know what I'm saying? And I saw it, man. It came to me in different ways and shit. You know what I'm saying? But and so at the domiciliary, one of my things to get back on course was I started making a list of things that I needed to do each day, and it felt so pathetic in the beginning, man, because I'm like, I'm a fucking addict, man. I'm hopeless. I'm gonna have, and my list was really kind of stupid in the beginning, But each day, man, it's amazing, like over a week, and I would look at my list, and I didn't do the list necessarily to this is what I'm gonna accomplish. I did the list so that at the end of the day, I could hold myself accountable. You know what I'm saying? So even if I was having a really bad day, even if people were assholes, I'd look at the list at the end of the day, and I'd be like, man, for better or worse, you know what? I got the freaking list done. I got the things done, and the things that I didn't get done, they were my top priority for the next day, you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't sound like much, man, but when you have that type of attitude or whatever stuff, and you put one day on top of another day, on top of another day, and a week goes by, you're like, holy shit, I didn't realize I could get that much accomplished in a week, right? Then stretch that out to a month, right? Then put months together, right? And that was kind of my recovery and stuff, And I'm not saying this is what you got, but this is what I did, you know what I'm saying? When I realized I was blessed with the gift of desperation, I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do everything I can to do it. So I stopped smoking that day when I had the chance to smoke things at the dump. So I said, God, you're going to give me a chance. I'm at least going to show you. And I'm not saying you got to do that. I'm just saying that's what I freaking did. It could be whatever. You pick your own thing or whatever stuff. But on bad days, the fact that I didn't pick up a cigarette, man, it gave me a sense of thing. And then I had my list. You know what I'm saying? And man, the way that grew has grown for me, and things that it's enabled me to accomplish. And a lot of guys didn't know what I was doing here, but I had a real strict regimen of what I did, And I would start my day at 2:00 in the morning, right? And I had this process that I was doing. I started at 2:00 in the morning. By 3:00 in the afternoon, man, I was freaking wiped, and I had even when what's it called, the group sessions that you got, and stuff. A big thing I noticed, like watching other people in the group and stuff, was I learned from watching other people was everybody came in so headstrong. All they wanted to talk about is, man, I'm so good. This is what I'm doing. I'm so good, And I'm like, I could just tell them like, what are you putting all that kind of height on top of yourself? That's a big thing to carry, And sure enough, man, it's like, it got too much for them to carry, man. I remember one dude, every time in the domiciliary, they'd ask him, what's going on? What's going on? I'm fine. Everything is fine, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, and I was sitting like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you even doing here if everything's fine? If everything's fine, if you're so good with yourself, what are you doing here? And so I was thinking, I probably do the same thing. So I'm just not aware of it, right? I'm him. I'm saying to him, and that dude, I'm not, hey, like I said, I found him OD'd twice here. I had to call the cops twice on the dude, what I'm saying? One time he was passed out in the parking lot, the other time in the bathroom, and stuff, and he had no problems, So I'm like, well, I know, I can see he thinks, it's hard for me to see myself though, right? So I kind of looked at that and I said, man, that's freaking me, you know what I'm saying? And one of the biggest things for me was to be able to take criticism. You know, if I said, dude, you don't mind me playing with you a little bit, right? Right. So, dude, you know, what the freak's your problem, man? You know, you take yourself way too seriously. You don't give a shit about anybody else. All you think about is yourself. If I gave you a list, right, you'd be like, you know, now just say, right, I was right, right? And the thing about that is the people that usually talk to us like that are the people that don't like us. And the people that don't like us, they're the ones that really don't care if they give you the truth, right? They'll insult you with the truth, right? You know what I'm saying? So my ego would be like, screw you. So I tried to learn when somebody was insulting me, and especially the people that I really wanted to throw a right hook at, you know what I'm saying? And believe me, I was out in Susan's office sometimes shaking, man. I'm so stressed. But I realized I could learn something from these people, right? And the thing about it too is, you know what happens? You know that same thing? You know, you kind of get like irritated with it, because they're coming at you like that. If your boss, you get a job, and your boss says, you know, I just don't think you're kind of a team player. You seem to really have your own way about doing things. You're not willing to. You take that shit the same way. It's the same thing. You're like, who the freak, you know, screw this person. You get this attitude, but they're telling you the truth. You go home to your wife, right? Go home to your kids. You know, you don't ever take time for the kids. You never do this. They're telling you straight up, but we're not freaking listening. I'm saying we, man. Dude, I'm so much part of this, right? So don't take me the wrong way, right? But that was me, man. So I was me. I was like, so I could see it in other people, but I couldn't see it in myself, right? Because I was right. I'm right. But I had to realize, when I had a real strong inclination that I'm right, man, you know, then I'd be like, I'm not freaking right. And believe me, some of these guys see me here sometimes when I thought I was right. I wasn't too fun to be around, man. It wasn't a good thing. And I had to make some apologies sometimes, man, to some people who really were kind of like somebody that you would not, you wouldn't, you know, they came at you the totally wrong way, right? They came at you, man, all freaking, and I'm like just ready to take them down, you know what I'm saying? So let's get you straight, right? And I would have to go back, and I didn't, Susan didn't say, Tom, you got to apologize. I took it upon myself. I'm like, I know how they act is not the problem. How I respond to them is the freaking problem, right, man? Dude, is that not right? Right? So I'd be like, I have to go apologize to him, right? And I'm telling you, man, I did not want to freaking do it, but I realized God gave blessed me with the gift of desperation. I'm like, I don't want to go back, man. I don't want to go back to the Tommy that I was, you know. I still am. The dude's still in me, you know what I'm saying? And I just try to keep him at bay 24 hours a day, you know, on a spiritual action, doing the work that I got to do. So I'd go apologize. I said, listen, man, you know, I didn't handle that. You kind of had a point with what you said. I took it I tried to, like, and I wouldn't just give some bullshit apology, you know. I try to own the apology when I'm talking to him, you know. And believe me, you know what I'm saying, man? A lot of people don't take that. They'll be, you're damn right, you know, apology, you know what I'm saying? And I had to like walk away from that, not feeling too, it was tough to walk away from. But what it gave me was, when people came at me, like with a left hook or something like that, I started to get a pause. Instead of having this Pavlov response, you come out with left, I come at you with a right, you know, I kind of slowed down and be like, and when it started to happen, I was like, what the hell's happening, man? You know, like, and I'd be like, do I really want to apologize? Do I really want to have to go back? And is this the kind of, do I want to have to deal with that emotion? Do I want, and so I could kind of see like what that dysfunctional Tommy was doing, you know? And, you know, and it's like this with the therapy and stuff like that, you know, I used to take notes, man. And when they would say something, they'd bring up a term and it'd be like, that kind of rings true. What the fuck is that about? You know, I'm telling them, you know, it's real easy to kind of like, you know, go to, I'm a gym nut, you know what I'm saying? You know, some people in the gym, man, they're like throwing the weights around, and you're looking, they're really not doing much of freaking anything but making a lot of noise, you know what I'm saying? So the kind of the same thing with what I did here was, I would like be like, in a minute, it was like, oh, I gotta start reaching. I mean, we all look up Google, right? We all look up shit, you know what I'm saying? I got a term, whatever. So I say, that thing, I think that kind of relates to me. And then I hit up the therapist, you know. I said, can you kind of go, and they recognized that they saw, man, this guy is kind of thirsty, right? So they would say, listen, Tommy, you know, if you want to, we can set up an appointment, you know. So I'd have additional therapy, but also have classes behind the scenes with some of the different therapists to talk about some of the things that were hurting me, you know. So, I don't want to go on and on, but I just want you to know that, you know, like, we got a great chance here, man. This is a place where we kind of got a chance to work on ourselves, you know? And I used to work at Salvation Army, and it was the only place I could work. Not Salvation Army, I forget what it's called, but one of those thrift stores, right? And they had the sign. Goodwill, yeah. And they had a sign on the wall, right? And basically it was a bunch of people like me that really couldn't hold down a job because we didn't have what it took, whatever. And on the wall, St. Vincent's, it was St. Vincent quote, and it said, working with the needy, right, is a very difficult thing. It's a very difficult thing to try to give to them because they cause so much problems for us trying to help them, right? And so when I was reading that, it was meant to be like the people that were helping and the thing, but I realized they're talking about us, right? So it's real difficult to help us because we wind up biting the freaking hand that's feeding us. It's like, you save a dog, the dog won't ever try to bite you back. You save somebody else, you kind of come at you, So it's kind of difficult perspective for me to wear. I tried to own up to that when I was here and stuff like that, and I didn't try to explain it to people because it was just my thing. And I didn't know, I just knew, I had a feeling, but I didn't know if it was going to work. So I just worked my ass off on it, though. And just a couple quick things. I just want to hit you with two more things, and I'll shut up. I mean, I used to get up at 2, right? And dude, when I finished that period of time with the classes and stuff, then I was searching for jobs. Man, I'd be over at the freaking VA. I'd be trying to get on websites. I mean, it was like, and to me, like working the computer, my brain did not work well at all, right? So I'm trying to work, and I'd be like, gonna fucking kill it, you know what I'm saying? And so by the time 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was trying to work with a rabbi, doing a 12-step program. I mean, talking about everything. I'm trying to just freaking pick, and there was so much to work on. And so I'm in my rack, and I'm just like, I'm so defeated. GD comes in and goes, "You can't be sleeping now. You gotta get going." And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, I'm going like, I've been going since 2 o'clock. And I'm thinking like, you know what, I'm kind of pissed, I'm kind of thinking I want to come out a different way. But I'm like, why don't you just shut up, Tom? I'm talking to myself. Why don't you just shut the frick up, get out of bed, and start doing whatever you're doing? Because don't try to like explain to everybody else what you're trying to achieve. Just be the freaking ball,